Hello, everybody.
What up, what up, what up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown, coach of the 2-0 Cooper Jaguars.
Yes,
And
sir. Yes, sir.
welcome to this week's edition of Late Night Reds, brought to you by the Riverfront, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network, where we talk about the Cincinnati Reds live with our friends every Sunday night. Very excited for this week's show. Not really, because, even though they won today, it's still the Reds, but we're going to have some fun still. Fun day at the ballpark. I see a GABP. The Reds finally get one against the Milwaukee Brewers. So solid. Good. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Obviously, yet another disappointing series against the Brewers, another disappointing week for the Reds. But Ben, before we get into the show today, I just have to say one quick thing.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
they're gonna say two things you love that have happened. Notre Dame won. And Brian Kelly is losing right now. So I know you
love to see it. Shout out Steven and the Offa Baker in the chat. Steve was a great guest this week. I'm going to reference some of the conversation he had on the Riverfront this week with Nate. We got Josh here, Sydney, and we got Dave. We're kicking tonight. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
Let's get it. All right, let's go ahead and just start with the recap of the weekend, which was not good. All right, Friday, first game of a doubleheader. They come back to tie it up, and then Alexis Diaz gets a free runner. Need I say more?
You know how that ends.
Yep. Need I say more? The next game on Friday, they play a little later. They break out the old City Connects. We're all feeling pretty good. Rhett Lauder makes his big league debut, and they lose by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean,
Just... not much more you can say about that. We'll get into Rhett Lauder here in a second. I have some opinions. Saturday, they lose 5-4. Ahmed Rosario ties the game in the 6th. They still lost. How about Noelvi Marte pimping what he thought was a homer and gets robbed, and he's not even at first base yet? Like, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
And then today, they do get the 4-3 win over the Brewers, finally getting a victory against the Brew Crew with a Santiago Espinal walk-off and Jonathan Diaz scoring from third on an infield single, which I'm sure someone's going to say, the contact play, it really does work sometimes. I don't know why I was being Paul Bearer there, but...
yes, Taker!
You take my Taker! And then, Steve, Luke got nuked Maley Friday night, man. Yeah, that was, they really brought Luke Maley in, and that was something. Shout out Luke Maley for literally taking one for the team. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you know, another series against the Brewers, another time losing 3 out of 4 games. And I don't know, man. I think we're just kind of running out of ways to say this has not been fun for a few months now.
Yeah, I mean, as I was thinking about how to address the show, and, it's like, no, by any stretch of the imagination do I like coming on a podcast and being upset about the team,
right?
Or being upset about how they play, or the management, or the manager. I hate doing that. I love the Reds. I love coming on here every Sunday night. I love chopping it up with my boy. But man, it is really hard baseball to watch. Like,
yes, it is.
Like, especially when you know your team is giving up. Like, it's really hard to watch. Like, even in like football terms, like when your team is already like, and you're halfway through the season and they're 1-7, like it's really hard to get up on Sundays and be like, yeah, we're gonna do it this. Like, nah, man, like it's brutal. It's brutal, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and there's no way of putting it. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to put honey on the biscuit, or however you want to say it. Like, they just do not play decent, good baseball, and management's given up, and we got all these relief days going on. We've got Lodolo shut down. We got Hunter Green shut down. We got all these different things going on. So it's very, very difficult for your true Reds fans to even support the product.
Ben, they literally have had someone get DFA'd 4 days in a row.
In a row. Yep.
That's that's history. And right, like that has to be like some sort of record.
I only thought you were allowed to do it like 2 a week or something. Like, there's some kind of like standard. Like,
yeah, there's got to be. Like, is it like the guy in fantasy baseball that like you have to make a waiver wire rule for?
Yeah,
making ad drops every day for
starters. Every day.
I was that guy at many of times in my life. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. It's just it's frustrating because even today, it's great they won. But the play where India gets picked off at second base by Contreras, and after he reaches second on a balk, and it's just like, man, good teams just don't do that stuff. Nope. And so many outs in the base pass this year. And granted, don't be wrong, India scores the game-winning run, so I'm not going to hate too much. Yeah, right here, Jace says it. They had their third walk-off win of the season today. It's September 1st.
Yeah.
Billy Joe Armstrong.
And I'll tell you what.
Billy Joe Armstrong went to sleep.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, like Jace is absolutely correct. Like, it's something that you should be excited about. Like, they won on a walk-off. I'm like, great. We took 1 of 4. Like,
yeah.
You know, I'm like,
in September.
Awesome. Yeah, in September. Great.
Yeah. It's so we got all the lockdown guys here today. Jeff's in the
what up, Jeff Carr? What's good?
Pat's here.
Pat, my guy. Yeah, what's good, Pat?
Sydney's here.
Sid.
Jeff, Steve, guys, if you're hanging out, we can send you an invite. I know you've already been on the riverfront this week, but you can come hang out with us if you want. I can text you. I can text you the link ASAP if you want to come join. We're not against it.
Hey, listen, the Reds are bad. We need more people to talk. We would love to have you guys. Come on, man. We'll chop it up. We'll just talk.
Always.
Hey, listen, we'll have a good old sit around the fire session on what is going on.
Yeah. Yes, we will. All right, let's get to some of the whoa!
Mr. Juan!
Oh my God!
Mr. Juan in the building. Let's go.
We got a live chat tonight. Everyone's here. All right. So let's get to
Mr. Juan.
Me too, buddy. Me too. By the way, real quick before we get to the stuff, I do want to we made a quick mention of college football at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I think I can honestly say I think Ohio State might have the 2 best running backs in the country on one team. Those guys are stupid. Why is that allowed?
Yeah. Listen, that kind of money gets you a whole lot of benefits. You know what I'm saying? Putting 2 guys like that in the backfield, yeah, I feel okay. Yeah. Listen, nothing is settled to me for sure until we beat that team up north. Like, you can do whatever you want during the regular season. If we don't beat TTU up north, then it don't matter. None of it matters. Fire day.
Hey man, you guys, Marcus Freeman's got a job. He's fine. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Man, it's so I just want to make sure I got that out there. All right, so they're having some bourbon, so they can't join us today. But that's all right. I know that they're excited. So let's talk about Rhett Lauder. So it makes his big league debut on Friday, which was rumored to be on Wednesday because CBS released something and it was kind of weird. Goes 4 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, does have 4 walks, but also has 6 strikeouts. And so I can go ahead and say, obviously, it's a Friday night. Ben's coaching football. I'm out of town for a funeral. So I'm going to kind of be real, like, leaning on our audience quite a bit for a lot of this conversation, just because life happens. I followed the game on game day. I listened to as much as I could from Tommy. And here's where I'm at so far. And if I'm wrong, chat, please let me know. I'm happy to have the conversation. You guys got to see more of the game than we did, obviously, just being frank and honest here. No way in hell would I not have let him go up for the 5th inning. No way in hell. I understand 4 walks. I understand he had given up a home run. Yeah. No, dude. And I understand, like, I think David Bell seems to think they still have a chance at something, maybe. But at this point, where this team is currently at with this current roster, there's no way he's not one of the best 5 pitchers in the system. There's just no way he's not. So there is no way that I am not sending him out for the 5th inning. He'll at least try. He may give up 2 more hits. He may give up another walk. It may be a 4 and 2/3 kind of game.
Yeah, and I saw that he only had 71 pitches.
77 pitches.
Or 77? Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah, I'm sending him out there. I'm saying, dude, show me what you got. Keep us in. Now, albeit, I understand Carson Spires comes in a couple innings later, and the game is what he puts the game out of hand. I get it. But dude, like, this is this kid's big league debut against a team that you can't beat, and he's giving you a chance to win this game. He's keeping you in the game. Don't take him out. Don't take him out.
I like I said, I was coaching that night, but I was trying to follow along because fortunately for us, we were in a rain delay, or unfortunately because it was taking forever. But I don't understand what the idea of that is. Like you're not saving him for anything. This isn't a playoff run. This isn't somewhere. Oh man, he's gonna make a start in the playoff. We need to preserve his. What are we preserving? Like what in your mind makes you think that not running him out, especially with your pitching staff the way it looks now? Like what in your mind says I don't want to run him? At least give him 5, or if he's at 77 when you pull him, give him 20 more pitches. That's 97 pitches.
Yeah.
If he can't get out of the inning at 97 pitches, then you're like, yep, I'm in his first big league debut at 97 pitches. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger. But at 77 pitches, I think that kid had earned the right to do and be out there for at least the 5th and see what he's got. Well, heck, as a freaking organization, you should want to see how he bounces back through 5 innings. Don't you want to see how he works through the 5th?
Yeah.
And how he can recover and get stuff done? Like as an organization, you should want to see that in a game that literally means nothing, how well this kid worked through 5.
I totally agree. I'd understand that they weren't getting much offense, but they're down 2-0 when they pull them.
Yep.
They lost 14-0. Let's just go ahead and make sure we emphasize they lost 14-0. They were down 2-0 when they pulled them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm for sure giving him a shot. Like I said, it might be something where he gives up a walk, or Willie Adames, hits his 900th home run against the Reds.
But what's it matter?
Yeah, what's it matter? Give it a shot.
Matter?
Give it a chance.
We suck. What's it matter?
Yeah, I'm going to get to something that our listeners are going to really enjoy later in the show. That is going to kind of describe Ben and I where we're at this team. But man, it's just. But you saw. Again, we didn't get to watch the game. Yeah. Life, football, family, stuff happens. But watching kind of the consolidated game, listening to the radio broadcast, you saw what everyone's been talking about. You saw why he was a top 10 pick last year. Mm-hmm. You saw what he has in him. And there's a lot to be excited about. It seems like if things are going the way they are, he might be pitching. He'll either pitch the third Astros game or the first Mets game. I'll have to make sure I get that right. So obviously I'm already wrong because it's one or the other. But I'm stoked for his future. I thought he deserved another chance at a 5th inning. I think it was Saturday, David Bell came out and he got booed by the fans. I've heard the team get booed. I don't recall the manager getting booed.
Deservedly so. I mean, I tried to defend him at the beginning of the year because you don't get a chance to pick his ingredients and cook in the soup. But some of the stuff that they've done throughout the year, I definitely got to blame him for. So yeah, deservedly so. He deserves some booze.
Yeah, I don't like being everything he does is wrong guy.
Right. No, not at all.
But of late, it's kind of been hard to avoid.
Look good.
Yeah, it hasn't. Yeah. 2 other things I want to make sure I mention. I'm going to pull the picture back up real quick. Does 81 kind of look cold in a City Connect jersey? Doesn't it kind of look like pretty sick?
No, I like that. I really do. I like 81.
Yeah, I kind of dig it. I hope he keeps it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If you're if you are into marketing, you want a number that nobody has made famous.
Right. Yeah.
And 81 as a pitcher,
in the city of Cincinnati, you're like Carl Pickens?
Yeah, I'm like, Carl Pickens, maybe.
Ron Dugans?
Yeah.
Actually, you and I might be the only person in this whole thing that knows who Ron Dugans is.
That knows who Ron Dugans is?
Yeah, to be fair. Man, but make sure we give some love there. I love Rhett Lauder. I'm stoked. It was fun. Yeah. And then, hey, today, Brandon Williamson makes a season debut.
Yep.
Looked pretty good. Again, we're having the same conversation. 66 pitches after 3 1/3. I understand it's his first start of the year. I understand that he hasn't had any major league timing. He's battled an injury on and off all year. Why?
Yeah. That one I understand a little bit more, just vaguely, just a little bit, because at least Rhett Lauder's been pitching all year. So you're like, Rhett Lauder has the beef to go 5. But he hadn't really pitched all year. I can see that a little bit, and he's been injury prone off and on, so he's had little things here or there. So I can see them having him on like a 65 pitch count. That one I can see a little bit, but even still, like let him go through the 4th. That's not, let him finish it out. But that one I understand a little bit better, but still not much. Because what are you saving him for?
Yeah. Like Steve said, I understand being cautious, but
yeah.
He looked like he was kind of rolling. The cutter looked good. He even talked about in the presser. He thought his stuff looked pretty good. I'm happy to see him back with the big league team. So it's awesome. I'm still a Brandon Williamson believer, especially because at some point you have to think about this young niche of these starters between the Greens, Lodolos, Ashcrafts, Abbotts, him, Lauder, Chase Burns. There's going to be an odd man out at some point there. And I really hope it's not him, because I think he has a lot to offer. But Mr. Juan should have called up Cy Overton. I always forget that Connor Overton exists. Just kind of one of those guys. Ian Jabot's another one.
Oh, yeah. Is he still hurt?
I think he just lives in Arizona now and collects a paycheck from the Reds. I think that's what it is.
I just keep making rehab starts. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, okay, man. Do your thing.
Yeah. Like, how you doing? Like, I need
another rehab start.
Yeah, the elbow's not
work it out.
Kick it in.
Get me through another 40 pitches. I should be good.
Oh, man. I think Ian Jabot is okay. I'm trying to think where I would put Ian Jabot in Reds history, and they're kind of that guy list. Because he's been there for 2 years, so it's not like it's rando. So he's above the Asher Wojciechowskis, but he's probably below the Sean Marshalls. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a good spot for him.
Okay, yeah. Even though Sean Marshall really was with the Reds for 3 years and pitched like a year.
Yeah, that's a good spot for him, though.
I think people forget that Ryan Madsen was on the 2012 Reds.
How could you forget?
He's the reason Aroldis Chapman became the closer.
Yeah, how could you forget?
Yeah. So, oh man. Also ended up being one of the most hated human beings in Reds history. So,
yeah.
All right. So, should I get to segment number 1 and how describing us at the moment right now?
Let's do it.
All right. So, Ben and I, as you know, we're normally happy-go-lucky, have a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. This is what we do. We want to hang out with you guys. We want to talk a little baseball. We want to feel good about the team. But I feel like how we're feeling, how things have been going for the last couple of months, we couldn't really put in the words. So I called on my good friend Randy Quaid, and he just sent me some clips.
Get out of here! You rotten bums! You overpaid weenie! Vile thing! You make my butt sting! I detest you! You're all garbage! All of you! Back up the truck! Back it up! See, I told you. Bring out the tarp. Cover the field. I can't watch this anymore. It's over. Turn the lights out. Let's get the bulldozers in here and turn this place into a parking lot.
Yep. Spot on.
Spot on. And I hate that I feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Because that's not what Late Night Reds is all about.
No.
But we're at this point now with this team where, well, again, let me go ahead and bring up the point I brought about 20 minutes ago. They have DFA'd someone 4 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. Every day around a couple hours before the game, when I get the push notification of, The Reds made the following transactions. And I'm like, who's done for? Who's never pitching in the big league?
Who's out? Who's out?
Yeah. You and Seth had a really good conversation last week about Casey Kelly getting innings in the bullpen. Julian Aguilar is starting games for this team. He's going to start in this Astros series for a game against Justin Verlander. Yesterday, the 4-5-6 was Ty France, Ahmed Rosario, and Dominic Smith. Within the last month, all three of those guys have been designated for assignment by other big league teams.
By other big teams, yep.
And I'm at this point offensively, and this is where I'm going to borrow what Steve said the other day, and it's going to kind of get into a little bit of a segment later. But this is a nightmare. And it's a nightmare in the sense that, let's go ahead and point out the obvious is, yes, we know Matt McClain never played this year. Noelvin Marte never got going. When he was playing, he was disappointing. Will Benson did not have a very good follow-up to year 2 as he did year 1. Jake Fraley went through hell and back. Personally, I think he just got his 3rd or 4th homer of the year today. And TJ Friedel obviously went through a lot of injuries this year. You can go yada, 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 yada. The reality of the Cincinnati Reds is there's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot of talent. I mean, we just listed, look at our chat right now. Yep. I mean, people are listing all these pitchers, and I understand CES obviously only played a month and a half, and David Bell lied to us about him breaking his wrist, even though he didn't break his wrist, but he broke his wrist. And I understand Hunter Green went down. Nick Lodolo was up and down the IL.
Yep.
The pieces that are kind of keeping them from going to that level that we all think they can be at, we're very fixable. We're there, and you're starting to see more and more that the frustrating thing about the season was that they didn't go and fill those voids that they really should have. And I didn't hate the Frankie Montas signing. I didn't think it was, this changes it. This changes everything. I thought but I was like, okay, cool. Nice veteran guy to get some innings. Maybe go get someone else. Sure. Wasn't the case. Jeimer Candelario, that was fine. Didn't make any sense to me.
No.
But whatever. Power hitter. Had okay stretches. Realistically, hasn't been that great. I think what was just really frustrating, and the market last offseason for free agents was pretty solid, and guys who are available as well, and trades and things like that. I mean, the Reds couldn't have made a better offer than the Dodgers did for Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow on this team with Hunter Green couldn't have been better. And I know we're in September, and I'm saying this, but I think what I'm saying the thing why I played old Randy's quotes here before he goes insane here in about 10 years after that movie and starts talking about aliens really existing. I don't know what Independence Day really did to that guy. My point is, we're going into 25, it feels like, with more questions than we had in 24.
Yeah.
And 24, we felt like it was the young nucleus. So if we go around the big league roster right now, I'm not talking the guys who are on the IL. So Green, Lodolo, McClain, they're not in this conversation right now. How many guys who are currently wearing a Cincinnati Reds uniform do you feel comfortable being on the team in 25? So
you're not hold on. So, but you're not counting the guys on IL, right?
Right. Because they're currently not playing.
So Stevenson, Friedel as a backup, India. I mean, and of course Elly. I mean, I'm not leaving Elly out, but I mean, without those other guys, I'm trying to think of anybody else. I mean, maybe Jake Fraley. I'll give you like a 0.25 on Jake Fraley.
Yeah.
0.25. So, and I'm trying to go through the rest of them, which is really bad because if I can't name the rest of you, then you probably don't need to be on the line.
Yeah, Will Benson.
Nope.
We don't know. Dominic Smith for sure not.
Nope.
I think Santiago Espinal is a guy that I'm comfortable being back on.
I was going to say, I think he's earned it. Earned it. Absolutely.
Hopefully not an everyday third baseman, but
No. Like he's definitely a guy that could be a plug and play guy for sure.
yeah. On the pitching side, Hunter brings up Brent Suter. Yeah, all for Brent Suter being back on the team next year.
Yep.
Ty France,
Nope.
I do not want to be my everyday first baseman.
Nope.
But if he's someone who can come off the bench and get some bombs for me, sure. To make another Major League 2 reference, if he's Jack Parkman, awesome.
Right. Yeah.
But not a guy I want to invest in. I mean, they already have Nick Martini, so
hold on, Diaz and Buck. I'm not big on Buck Farmer. And
we talk about this all the time. Buck Farmer's baseball card numbers look really good.
Yeah,
his baseball savant page does not.
Yeah. And Alexis Diaz, I mean, I'm okay with it. I just don't want to rely on that guy to win us games. He's just not reliable. Like, and this is coming off an all-star year. To me, is just not reliable. Like, it's not like if he's a setup guy, maybe, but I don't want to say, and I'm with you, Tim. I'm not a big guy. I'm just one guy closing, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not big on him.
Sydney brings up Nick Martinez. Yeah, all for him being part of the team next year.
Yeah.
I'll go and say Rhett Louder. I don't think he'll start 2025 with the big league club. But I am fine if he does because I don't have faith that the Reds are going to go out and make some big moves to be significantly better next year. Because let's be honest, what evidence do we have that they do that?
Right. Hold on. My man, Offenbaker says that France has team control.
Yeah. So basically, I think he's got a year or two. He's better than Nick Martini, I think. I don't know. If you take the speed away, he's better than Stu Fairchild.
Yeah.
Stu Fairchild. But Steve said when he was hitting third. Again, I have to bring this up because it's something that I'll forever laugh at, that this happened for a major league team in 2024. That there was a game in San Francisco this year where Mike Ford was pinch hit for as the third hitter in the lineup by Stuart Fairchild. That happened in a major league game for a major league team on a national televised Fox game at that. That happened, people.
But yeah, so to get back to your point, there are a few guys that I would keep around. I mean,
I'm open to Emilio Pagan.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
open to it, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. It's, and if you include the injured guys, I mean, you've got a really good
then it looks much better, yeah.
Yeah, then you got a really good nucleus. Well, what happens is that you got a really good nucleus of guys, and those guys that we mentioned become guys that are filling guys, right? Like guys that you can kind of rely on for day-to-day or not day-to-day stuff, but, here or there starts, couple at bats. Like then they become those guys, and then it's okay. But those guys can't get 300 bats in a season. That just can't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still extremely high and still really believe Matt McClain is going to be a very, very good Major League Baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a lot of hope and I still have a lot of confidence that's going to be a thing. The talent was just there and it was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what's going to happen with the shoulder, but talent-wise doesn't worry me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's Nick Senzel. I don't think it's, he had the shoulder injury and he'll never be the same again. I just think he's too good. I mean, Nick Senzel literally just got DFA'd by the White Sox, and that pains me, as we all know. But
that's your guy.
It was he is my guy. I wouldn't nothing but the best for him. But reality sets in when the White Sox don't want you, right?
Right.
Poor guy.
Gosh dang, dude. When you put it like that, when you put it like that, it's like, oh.
You know what though? He's going to go into. He's going to be like the MVP in the KBO next year. Watch. He's going to go to the KBO, and he's going to be incredible. Like him and Aristides Akito are going to be on a team together somewhere,
just wrecking shop.
Yeah, like
Luke Mailey. Did we sign Luke Mailey for multiple years, or is he?
I think he does have a second year after this year.
This is the second year of his. Okay.
I don't have the spot track page in front of me. I apologize.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, man, it's just kind of. So I think you're right on the guys you named.
Yeah.
To go on top of everyone who's currently on the IL.
Right.
And I do think obviously you have to think the injuries really played a part in this year, but there's
Yeah.
just a lot of other things that came into play, and laziness from the front office,
Yeah.
lineup decisions by the manager,
Yeah.
and that's not even mentioning the epic Ben Brown rant that has become famous after the David Bell press conferences.
Yeah.
That has just kind of ran our show for a couple weeks because everyone
Right.
loves it. I still get people who bring it up to me. It's so funny because
Yeah.
you were 100% on the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Steve Offenbaker
Well,
texted me and was like, "Yeah, Ben's right." So
but I mean, honestly, and we even addressed this when we were talking about the offseason stuff. Like, and I think those guys at Locked On Reds mentioned it too. Like, until you address your outfield holes, like I mean, that's just so glaring that like it's a big part of what we it should be a big part of the strength of going into this next offseason. I mean, if you don't address that, then that everything else I think you kind of pretty much have secured, right? I mean, you have starting pitching, you know what I mean? You have starting pitching, you have a great infield. If you don't have to use your relievers 95,000 times, you have great relievers. But it's your outfield. Like, you just don't have. I don't think you have three solid, consistent bats in the outfield. I don't think there's a Major League Baseball team that has success that doesn't have an outfield that hits the ball well.
I mean, right now you look at the Yankees, and one of their outfielders might hit 90 home runs this year.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
again, not comparing the rest of the Yankees because that's not fair. All right, so I'm gonna kind of just real quick, while we have a second before we get to our next segment, let's kind of go through, and I'm just gonna list guys who are gonna be free agents next year, and let's just be honest, they're gonna sign Juan Soto, and everyone's gonna be super stoked.
Dude,
because Juan Soto is he's gonna make $700 million next year. All right, let's just be realistic.
You would literally have to sell the Brent Spitz Bridge to whoever. You're like, yeah,
dude, do it. If that came up, do it.
Yeah.
All right. So available outfielders. Granted, they'll be free agents. Juan Soto, Cody Bellinger, Teoscar Hernandez, Michael Conforto, Mitch Haniger, Mark Hanna, Anthony Santander. I would really like that. Harrison Bader, been there, done that. Manuel Margot, Alex Verdugo, wouldn't hate it. Max Kepler, Hunter Renfroe, been there, done that. Tyler O'Neill, that'd be pretty sweet. Jason Hayward was just DFA'd by the Dodgers. Michael Taylor from the Pirates, wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't love it. Austin Slater, Adam Duvall. Do I want Adam Duvall back? I kind of want Adam Duvall back because he's probably better than the other right-handed outfielders they currently have.
Yeah.
Dude, this is just like all former Reds just about. Adam Duvall, Tommy Pham, Jesse Winker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Randall Grichuk, Robbie Grossman, Ben Campbell, Jurickson Profar, Whit Merrifield, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think they'll be able to get him from San Diego because they're probably going to give him to bring him back. But give me Jurickson Profar and Cincinnati Reds next year. Bombs on bombs on bombs on bombs on bombs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a healthy list of good free agents out there that you can make a run at that, would be solid.
Yeah.
Would be solid players. I'm not saying you got to go sign Aaron Judge, but I'm like, geez, give me somebody that can solidify your lineup a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, man. I totally agree. City says, we have starting pitching. If please avoid a third straight season with the entire rush and spend time in the IL at the same time. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that the Reds IL could beat the Reds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah. All right. So this conversation, talking about 2025, is kind of the theme of the show. And I'm not going to get super passionately angry about this, but this has come up quite a bit. And Jeff Carr, my brother in arms, my brother in Christ, I love you. You are my dude. As you know, you always have an open invitation to come hang out with us here on the show. But I know that we are on different sides of this conversation. And I don't know, Ben, maybe I shouldn't have made the title when I made it before talking to you first to get your thoughts. But Elly De La Cruz playing center field is something that's coming up quite a bit. And here's where I understand it. Super fast guy, strong arm. Get it. Totally get it. Run balls down the gap. It's great. But history says it doesn't work out really well for the Reds when you take a super fast guy who plays the infield and goes and plays center field. As a matter of fact, there's 2 cases against it already. One of them actually was a very, very good fielder and got robbed of Gold Gloves, but couldn't hit for crap. So maybe I'm wrong there. But O'Neal Cruz from the Pirates has been recently announced that they're going to be moving him to center field to give him some experience there as well. I get it. But I just don't know if I want Elly De La Cruz playing center field. And I'm curious where you feel on this. And I want to just kind of bring up real quick. The arguments is obviously, look, he has a lot of errors. He does. He leads the major in errors. He's still a positive defender at shortstop with the errors. And that's pretty fascinating. I totally get it, why people feel that way. I am just not one of those people. I think they're fine with him at shortstop. I'm okay if they say go back to third base at some point. If Edwin Arroyo really does have a really good fall league and can be on the big league team, and we don't have to worry about Noelvi Marte. If Noelvi Marte is going to be what he's been his half season, sure. But to me, I think you keep him where he's at. I think his abilities, the fact that he can run stuff down. I mean, he already basically plays the outfield. He's catching line drives in left field at times. So he's basically a 4th outfielder / infielder already. And I just, to me, feel like I think that, and he's been a guy who's been pretty open. If there's a conversation that you heard about when he was in Chattanooga and they were like, well, maybe he'll play second, maybe he'll play third. He said, no, I am a shortstop. If we're going to let Aroldis Chapman pick to not be a starter and be a closer, I think Elly De La Cruz, who we all believe is the future best player in the world and has a couple MVPs waiting for him in his future, I think has the right to say, I'm a shortstop and I'm going to stay a shortstop. Or again, third base I'm open to as well. But I believe in my heart of hearts that Elly De La Cruz should stay at the shortstop position. I do not believe he should be a center fielder. And if they decide to do it down the road, I'm not against it. I don't hate it necessarily, and I understand people are going to say the errors are why it's broken, but to me, it's not very broken. It's just, it just is what it is. But where are you on the conversation?
Well, to go on to your errors piece, right? Super freak athletes try to do things that are not normal to regular people. So when they do that, errors are going to occur. So is it bad? Yes. Is it fixable? Absolutely. It's just about retraining his process to go through things and the steps they need to go through in order to do things the right way, more reps, more things like that. Number 2, I don't think you can move a guy like Elly if he's not willing to buy into the move. So if he's already said, hey, man, I'm a shortstop, this is what I want to be, or a third base. And granted, I know people are going to say, well, he works for the Reds. He's going to do it. No, it doesn't work that way, guys. Like, these guys are professional athletes. They have gentle egos. And if Elly De La Cruz says, I don't want to play center field, Elly De La Cruz is not going to play center field. So, as much as people want to say, oh, yeah, it'd be a great move. He can run, he can jump, and blah, blah, blah. And I get that. He can do all those things. And a matter of fact, I think if he took the time to learn how to be a center fielder, it probably would be pretty good. But that's not where he's going to want to be at. And when you start messing with guys and moving them around, you can mess with somebody's psyche in a different way, and it could throw everything off. So the benefits of having Elly be comfortable is more important to me than having him make that move and not be comfortable in that position, start making errors in the center field. Then it's like, well, we can't play him anywhere. I'm like, come on, guys, what are we doing? Let's let him get comfortable. Let him become a Gold Glove shortstop, which he will, because he's trying to do unhuman things that people have never seen before, and sometimes he rushes his process, and that happens. You know what I mean? So I think he's fine at shortstop, and you're not you're still not really. I mean, you're trying to solve a problem, but you're not solving the problem. You're just moving a guy around until you trying to fix a problem that could be fixed by your front office. Go find a proven center fielder that has played center field their career and can play it well, and leave a guy that's comfortable with shortstop playing shortstop. So I'm kind of with you on that. I don't like moving guys like that around because it does mess with their psyche, because you're telling them that they're not going to get any better at a job that they've been working at their whole life. So let's just move them. And I don't think that's going to be a thing. Now, can they move him? Yeah, but I just don't. I'm just not a fan of it because of how it would affect Elly. Like I think that, and I think that's where he's going to be okay at. It's going to take him, the processes that take time, and you see him do things that nobody else has seen done before on the base or fielding the baseball. So sometimes that process gets rushed and mistakes happen. It's a learning process. And this year has been the first year he's been everyday shortstop. So give him some time, give him a little leeway, and he'll be fine. I'm just not a big fan of moving guys just because you're too lazy to figure out the process of bringing in a decent center fielder.
You mean like when Santiago Espinal's playing right field out of the blue?
Like that's just lazy.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I was a lot more aggressive in the title of the show than I meant for this conversation to be. And this conversation was more meant to just be, I don't agree with the people who say that. It's not I hate you. I'm not saying that at all. But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. If he kind of says like, hey, I want to be here, it's your franchise guy. You kind of listen to it. That's what you go with. But if he does say, if they go to him to say, hey, would you be willing to try out center field? And he goes, sure, I'll try it out in spring training. Okay. That's fine with me. Ronnie brings up the point, he could be an all-star third baseman. He could be, and that's true because he has played third base quite a bit in the minors. He played third base when he came up with the big league team. He played third base in the all-star game this year.
Yep, sure did.
I think he could definitely has the upside to be a Gold Glove third baseman for sure.
Yeah.
But
and I'm not opposed to that. I mean, I don't think that's a bad move.
If he wants to do it, I think that's the point of the conversation we're having here is if he wants to do it, then yeah, for sure. I'm all for it. But I think with what kind of the conversation he's giving is that he really seems like he's content playing a shortstop. And yeah, like you said, go get a center fielder. Sydney makes the point too. Sydney makes a great point here. Like I've been telling CJ Friedel got hurt this year.
Yep.
You don't want that to happen to Elly De La Cruz.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think the last time the Reds had a center fielder I felt comfortable that wasn't going to get hurt was probably Drew.
Yeah.
I mean, Shin-Soo probably should not have played center field, but all that was about was getting his bat in the lineup, and he was great as a hitter. Billy Hamilton made unbelievable plays, got hurt all the time. Nick Senzel broke his toe playing center field at one point for the Reds, going against the wall. Sure. I don't know if I would have risked that happening to the guy that I'm hoping is going to be here at least for 6 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sydney says Scott Schebler. I'm old enough to remember Jay Bruce playing center field.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, Ken Griffey Jr. center field tenure in Cincinnati was one that wasn't very good. Yeah, Hunter, that was my point right there. Senzel's another converted infielder. So, like I said, I know my guy Jeff Carr believes Elly would be a really good center fielder. I'm sure if he learned it, he would be awesome. I just want to protect my 6'6", really fast, really talented switch hitting guy and not give him any more chances of getting injured. Sydney, we don't talk about that, okay? We don't mention when Joey Votto played left field.
Oh, man.
I remember, so this kind of brings up a funny story. Do you remember when the Reds were trying to figure out a place for Yonder Alonso?
Yep.
And because he was a first base and they had Joey.
Yep.
So they were throwing him in left field because apparently everyone thinks left field at GABP is super easy.
Yeah.
But there's Tommy Pham said it's miserable because of the sun, which I totally get.
I understand that.
I used to have season tickets in left field. It was brutal at 7:10 when the sun was coming down. But there was this play and it was like just a can of corn. and Yonder Alonso, who had no experience, they're playing the Mets. It's like 9-0. It's one of those games. Slides, like full on slides, and makes the catch. I'm like, you probably could have just ran that down, my guy.
Just stayed on your feet. Oh man, no,
But it's like we have so many stories of just random ass dudes. Like, yeah, we'll throw them in left field today and see what happens.
See what happens, man.
Didn't Michael Lorenzen play left field for the Reds at one point?
At some point, yeah, he did.
I think he started games in left field at 10 points when they were trying to see if he could be a two-way here. By the way, should still be a two-way player. What are you doing, Kansas City? I get you're really good. Get some ABs. Get my guy some ABs. He hits tanks. I've witnessed them. Tanks. I was at the game he hit the homer after his dad passed. When the infamous one when he came the first game back. He's pitches ending a relief against the Dodgers, and then hits a homer. I was at that game. That was a pretty cool moment. Yeah, Sydney actually did. Yeah, Sydney stands to be corrected. He did start in center. That should be one of our episodes. Is we should just try to build a lineup of pitchers who could rake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Underrated one, Matt Latos. I saw him hit a bomb one time against the Pirates. It was a tank. But I can't draft Matt Latos because he's an awful human being. Mike Leake, obviously. Micah Owings, obviously. That could be a fun show. We're going to need something to talk about. I don't know. We can just go ahead and start. Yeah, Anthony DeSclafani hit a grand slam at GABP. Do you remember that?
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I remember, was it CC Sabathia that half year he was with the Brewers? He hit 3 home runs.
Yeah.
After the Indians traded him.
I do remember that too.
Zach Greinke.
William Mo Pena.
Should we count Babe Ruth? I feel like Babe Ruth should just not count.
No, that doesn't count. That's cheating.
I still kind of have this feeling, and I know that we have no way that we could prove this. Dontre Willis, obviously. I was at a game when Dontre Willis signed with the Reds. They played the Nationals. He went 3 for 3.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. And then he hit that homer against the Astros in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
That was up back when they had the hill. That was cool. I don't even remember what we're talking about now, but now you guys are just making this show fun again. So thank you. We appreciate it. Let's talk about the Astros series because the Astros are coming to town. And Ben, we should make sure tomorrow when you're off work and you're celebrating Labor Day, that you timestamp where you were when Julian Aguilar pitched against Justin Verlander.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, history.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah,
the legend of Justin Verlander. How could you just not have remembered that for Julian Aguilar? Good. Sure, he's a nice kid. Wednesday, because they're off Tuesday for some reason. The series is a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday series.
Huh.
Labor Day is odd, I guess. I'm sure that probably just means the MLB website hasn't updated who's going to pitch, gone through the rotation to figure it out. But I assume Nick Martinez probably get one of those games.
Yeah.
If I have that right. And then who cares? Jose Altuve is going to come in here and probably hit the scoreboard at GABP. And then Mr. Wanda already said Micah Owings. Listen to the show. Bronson Arroyo, that's a fun one. Did he have a 2-homer game at GABP? I think he did his first year. I think he did. Question. Yeah. How many pitcher home runs would you say you've seen in person?
Oh. Gosh.
Let's see. Matt Latos, Mike Leake, Michael Lorenzen.
I don't know if I've seen any.
I've seen more pitcher home runs than I've seen inside the park home runs.
Oh, wow. That's legit.
Yeah. I saw Chris Heisey's inside the park home run.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was at that game in 2012.
Wow.
I missed Drew's against the Blue Jays where it bounced up really high. And the left fielder, it went over, I think it bounced into the corner and bounced really high and over his head. And Drew was so fast, by the time the guy fielded the ball, he was halfway to third.
Yeah.
So it was one of those. But I went to the game the next day. And I remember this so well. It's so stupid that I remember this. Because Miguel Cairo hit a grand slam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It might be the only one he ever had in his career.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But that's where we're at in the show, guys. Are you guys excited for the Astros to come to town? Me neither. All right.
Yep. Nope. That's a negative.
I mean, they were like really, really bad for a really long time. And then all of a sudden they put a nice little run together. I'll tell you what. We have a few weeks left of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when I'm going to be bringing some booze onto the show here in the near future. Holy crap. Okay, I'm way off, man. I did not realize that not only did I knew the Astros took first place in the West. I did not realize they were 6 games up on the division.
Are they really?
When? Did they just go insane at one point? Like they had
to have. They had to have. Holy cow.
Whatever. At least we're not the Pirates.
That's true.
Yeah. We're only a game up on for last place, by the way. Oh yeah, by the way, Mr. Juan brings up a good point. I don't know if you saw this. Cam Collier hitting bombs again. You see?
I did see that.
Holy mother of God!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been insane. He is definitely on one. And then it sounds like they said Edwin Arroyo is going to play in Arizona Fall League from his shoulder injury since he missed a year.
Okay,
that's good news.
Okay,
yeah, that's good news.
Absolutely.
Like him a lot. Still think he has a lot of upside, but we're probably waiting a little bit for this next group. I'm getting pretty excited about Sammy Stafora. Is there anyone who can talk me out of being excited about him? Because every time I see his highlights in Daytona, it looks like he's pretty darn good. He's fresh out of high school and he's hitting really well, and people seem to be really excited about him in the organization. I think he was a second rounder in the Rhett Lauder draft. Dude, if you haven't looked at him, I know you're not spending your free time looking at minor league prospects.
I haven't seen him.
Kid's really good. Good.
I'll have to check him out.
Hey, Ben, guess what's the position he plays?
Oh, gosh. Centerfield?
Shortstop!
Oh, no! Oh, no.
Because you couldn't possibly be a Reds prospect and not play shortstop.
Right. Jeez, Pete.
Which I always laugh at that when people get mad about that, when they're like, they take all these shortstops. It's like, guys, who cares? Joey Votto was drafted as a catcher.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Usually shortstops are really good athletes. That's why they take them. Right.
Who is it? Okay, so last thing before we get out of here, because we're about 5 minutes short. I obviously am really bummed I had to miss last week's show when you and Seth got to talk about Joey's retirement. I am so sad and I'm so heartbroken that Joey Votto is not going to be part of our lives anymore as far as a big league player. I am excited for the day the Reds do decide to honor him. I really hope that it is ASAP and not something where, as our good friend Chris Garber said, they got to make the bobbleheads first, because they will.
You already know.
But I am super excited for the day he's in Cooperstown. I'm going to do everything in my power. Locked On Reds guys, hey, let's just go ahead and make a deal. The day Joey Votto's in Cooperstown, the 4 of us, we can invite Chad and Nate, I guess. The 6 of us, we find a bar in Cooperstown and we do a live show. All 6 of us together. You guys down? We're down. We got till 2029, so
figure it out.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time. I don't even know where you fly. Do you fly to Syracuse to go to Cooperstown? I drove to Cooperstown when I went.
Yeah, Syracuse is. It's like when we went up there, they said it was really close.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we need to make that happen in 2029. Also, let's just do something in Bristol next year. Let's just all go. We'll get all the shows together. We'll do like a big Reds podcast show. Everyone, 95% of Reds podcasts are invited. 95% of them. and we'll just have some fun. All of us shooting the crap together, talking baseball. Hopefully the team's a lot more fun in August of 2025 than they were in August of 2024.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Ben.
Yes, sir.
We should probably wrap this up before this gets out of control. I do want to wish you good luck in maybe the biggest high school football game in the state of in Northern Kentucky in a decade this week.
At least, yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Cooper versus Ryle. If you can make it out and you are patient with traffic, go to the game. I really want to go to support my family, Ben and Isaac, but I am not patient enough to sit in traffic. So I will try to see if there's someone streaming it illegally on their iPhone or something.
Yeah. Well, I think 859 is there, so they'll be streaming it. So
perfect.
Yep.
So it's going to be an awesome one. If you guys are in the area, you don't want to miss it. Cooper versus Ryle. It's going to be a great game. Yep. We're going to go ahead and wrap this week's edition of Late Night Reds up. As always, make sure you check out the Riverfront Reds show with Chad and Nate and their little crew. Like I said, they had the Locked On guys on this week. Really, really great episode. They discuss, they dive into, it's another Joey Votto appreciation show because that's what we do at the Riverfront. We just appreciate Joey Votto.
Absolutely.
He's watching over me every week. Really fun episode coming up of Red Leg Roundtable this week. Seth has the Bronner Hawk, Donald Lutz, coming on the show.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Yeah. He had to figure out how to talk to him and make time work in Australia.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. He said it's been crazy.
Yeah, so he didn't make it happen. He said that Lutz was actually about to do a fantasy football draft with Tucker Barnhart. So he was wrapping up his thing with Seth and then jumping on a call with him.
Oh, that's dope.
That's pretty cool. So Donald Lutz will be on the show. You won't want to miss that. If you're checking us out on YouTube and you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe. If you are listening to us on one of your podcast apps of choice and if not subscribed, please do so there as well. Of course, I'm going to ask you a nice 5-star review. Make sure to give us our follows at Late Reds on social media and also at Riverfront Cincy. And hey, patreon.com/Riverfront Cincy. You got a couple bucks you can spare? Come hang out with us. It's a lot of fun. Dave, Hunter, Sydney, Mr. Juan, Hunter, again. Pat, Steve Offenbaker's in there on occasion, I think. Hunter's in there twice, I figured out one time in the Hoops chat. I don't know how that happened, but I'm going to have to ask Nate if we're going to have to audit him to see if he's, I'm kidding. I don't care. It's not my money. So on behalf of Ben Brown, this is Tim Daniel. Everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week. And I don't know, maybe they'll beat the Mets or something.
Let's go Reds.